Mr Deputy Speaker, today we also grieve for the victims of Islamic extremism, specifically women, homosexuals and Christians who have been systemically oppressed by Islamists across the world. The atrocities inflicted on minorities by Islamic fundamentalism are illiberal, primeval and indefensible. Daesh represents an interpretation of Islam that is profoundly incompatible with the modern world. Children are murdered for watching soccer. Homosexual men are thrown from the top of high-rise buildings after show trials. Women are discouraged from seeking education, choosing their own clothing or their partner in marriage. Christians are being murdered simply for their faith and acting consistent with their God. Arguably, this amounts to a genocide. Islamic State has enslaved and brutalised women while empowering female morality police to oppress their own gender and ensure children are raised as what they would call true believers. They envisage a future without ascetic Western contamination, without liberalism or democracy. There is no willingness for mutual respect. They are destroying cultural heritages of other civilisations. This problem is shared with many of those Muslim countries struggling in a globalised world against this type of extremism. Daesh did not learn these illiberal attitudes out of nowhere. Australia's first openly gay Imam, Nur Wasami, has labelled Islamic law out of date and not applicable to our society today. Coming from Somalia, where gay people face imprisonment and extrajudicial killings, he denounces archaic leadership who somehow preach punishment for homosexuals. The same sort of spirit is true of attitudes to the dignity of people of other faiths. This intolerance for religious pluralism cannot be tolerated. A free society does not seek to homogenise belief or conscience, but instead affirms the respect for individual freedom. And that means freedom for everybody, not just for the selective few or those who seek to advance their own agenda. We should never be afraid to stand up and speak out against these sorts of horrific crimes by extremists. They represent the worst of a mad ideology. It is a reminder why I am a cultural conservative and not a cultural relativist, because not all cultures are equal. Such value sets have no place in a modern Australia, and we should not tolerate such vile practices or acts by extremists in other parts of the world, because they are inspired by barbarism and advanced by barbarians.